Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar today. We'll be focusing on explaining and showing you the key differences between Microsoft's Project Online and Project for the Web solutions. My name is Sarah Howard and I'm with a Microsoft Gold partner called Pragility. We've been implementing Microsoft PPM solutions for over 15 years for large enterprises. That's everything from engineering, construction, IT, new product development. We specialize in implementing these solutions for large enterprises, and people tend to get a hold of us when they can't easily explain what's going on across all of their projects. They don't know what resources are working on what work, and they have a hard time getting consistent reports and metrics to make project and portfolio-based decisions. We offer services and solutions in 3 core areas. Our core business is providing deployment and consulting services for successfully planning and implementing Microsoft Project Portfolio Management, including Microsoft Project Online, integrating PPM with line of business applications, delivering strategic portfolio management solutions to support top-level management planning. We also have a growing business intelligence practice that leverages best-in-class solutions such as Microsoft Power BI. Pragility offers a set of pre-built software solutions and accelerators based upon 15 years of experience, including a set of Hammerhead products that provides improved access to your cloud PPM data and accelerates access to visual reports and dashboards using Power BI, which can connect data between your PPM system and Azure Devops, Teams, Microsoft Planner, and Active Directory to improve visibility, insight, and control over your work, people, and projects. Finally, Pragility provides post-implementation support services, including expert care, which is designed to assist your PMO with gaining on-demand expertise on the solutions supported. We also offer training for your end users and administrators and an e-learning offering that can improve consistency and adoption for your users and your project management tools. We do have a set of upcoming webinars covering topics ranging from leveraging Microsoft Teams and Project Together, to leveraging Powerapps with your Microsoft PM solution. All webinars will start at 1 p.m. Eastern, and you can register for one or multiple events through the Eventbrite link provided, or by searching Eventbrite Pragility in your browser. We hope you can join us for these sessions, which were based upon your feedback over the last 6 months. On April 7th, we'll be hosting a half-day virtual conference specifically designed for you and your teams. The special event will feature speakers that include 3 successful enterprise clients presenting their lessons learned and best practices for deployment and adoption of project, presentations by Microsoft experts on the state of project and the overall direction of project. There will also be input from Microsoft specialists in different verticals highlighting how businesses are using and deploying project and PPM. And there will also be guidance from Pragility experts on how to successfully plan and drive adoption for your PPM solution, as well as helping you better understand the changes going on in the marketplace for these solutions. You and your teams won't want to miss this exciting online conference, and registration is limited, so sign up today. All videos from this and previous series are available on our best practice playlist on YouTube, which is listed here on this page. Topics range from managing your digital transformation program using PPM technologies to integrating PPM with agile and line of business applications. So feel free to subscribe and access this library at any time and share it with your colleagues. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Rob Hirschman, partner at Pragility, who's going to go through our content. Rob, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Today, we'll be focused on the newest and latest version of Microsoft Project called Project for the Web. We'll talk about some of the different options there are with the Microsoft Project platform, walk through a demonstration of the product so you can get a feeling for what's possible, talk through the architecture and what this looks like in an enterprise environment, also talk through specifically the key differences between the new version of Project and previous versions of Project that are out there, and finally talk about some of the processes that you can put in place to select and implement the right tools for your enterprise. If we take a look at where Microsoft is today, they really do offer 3 different tools within the Office 365 suite that are designed to support collaboration and project collaboration specifically. At the base of it all is Microsoft Planner, and this is really, if you look at the matrix on the left, it's mapped to capabilities, to role in the organization, and then complexity. So there's 3 different quadrants here. Planner is at the bottom left, and Planner is a Kanban-like visual task management tool that's really designed for day-to-day collaboration among team members. It is not a formal project management tool. It's more of a visual task management tool, but it's built by the same team that builds Project. We move up a little bit. This is where we get into Project for the Web, and this is the technology we're going to be focused on today. It is a visual interactive project management solution designed for small and lightweight projects for people that are kind of occasional or part-time project managers that are really looking for easy, quick to use tools that are fully web-based to do their jobs. That's what we're going to be focused on introducing today. The third solution on the top is really the full-featured project portfolio management solution called Project Online, which we've done lots of webinars on. So we're not going to be focused on that. Today, we're really focused on those two components, but really Project for the Web is the focus of today. Remembering that multiple tools can be a fit for your organization, so you always have options. You may have groups in the business where Project for the Web is a great fit. You may have IT or large programs or products or product development where Project Online is a fit, and you always have options in the Microsoft stack. And if we start to line these up, really, what is the difference between Project for the Web in the left-hand column and Project Online or PPM in the right-hand column? Well, first, if we look at who the solution is targeted to. The users for Project for the Web are what we call occasional or accidental project managers. And in doing research, Microsoft found there's a large group of those folks that manage projects as a part of their job, but it's not what they do on a day-to-day basis. So they may be folks in operations or finance or mergers and acquisitions, or maybe human resources that don't have a formal title of project manager, but still get the task of managing projects. They will typically find that Project Online or traditional Microsoft Project on the desktop is too difficult or too complex or too heavy for them. So they tend to lean towards more web-based tools that are in the marketplace, like Asana, Smartsheet, Basecamp. Project for the Web is a tool that actually sits in that marketplace. Platform perspective, if we move down, Project for the Web is a ground-up based solution that was built fully on the Office 365 platform, and the back end of it all is all Power Platform. What that means is you can build solutions over time on this platform. So unlike Project Online, which has a very defined set of use cases, you may start with Project for the Web. And over time, you may want to grow that functionality to add other components. That's where the Power Platform comes into play because your data is there, and that is the back-end application for Project for the Web. You can build apps over time. So that's one of the benefits or the flexibility of Project for the Web. Functionality, and this is why most people actually end up looking at these tools, they're looking for specific functions. Project for the Web today, and it's about an 18-month-old tool. It was launched in October of 2019, provides basic project scheduling and visualization of those schedules. You can extend this out again using Powerapps. It allows you to assign tasks, resources and tasks together, but it's not a detailed resource planning tool. And that's about what it does today. Again, it's designed to plan, track, and manage projects and project-related work and schedules. Looking to the far right, if we look at that Project Online is really a portfolio and resource management and detailed task management. If you have those kind of requirements, again, Project Online is still a very good fit. If not, Project for the Web is a good starting point for you. Microsoft Teams, this is an application that because of the pandemic has been implemented and adopted at a very, very rapid rate. Most organizations are adopting or have adopted Microsoft Teams. Well, what's the integration? With Project for the Web, there are pre-built apps that allow you to view your schedules and the roadmaps that come from Project for the Web in the Teams user interface. Project Online information can still be viewed through Microsoft Teams. It's not a pre-built app, but there's some components that you can deploy through a series of tabs in Teams. So either way, you have integration with Teams. It's just natively built out of the box with Project for the Web. Project Online requires some setup and configuration. And finally, the user interface and the database. This is pretty important to folks on the IT side. The user interface for Project for the Web is a pure web-based user interface. There is no desktop client for it. Project Online uses both a web interface as well as a project desktop client, the traditional Microsoft Project Desktop Pro client. The data that's in Project for the Web sits in what's called the Dataverse, which is the renaming of the Common Data Service. It's the database in Office 365, typically housing Dynamics data or business application data. Over on the right, the data is all in a SQL Server database with SharePoint Online in front of that. So your data is all stored in a separate database than Project Online. It's literally its own system and its own database. So if you're looking at Project for the Web, you want to start looking at these 5 different components and see, is this a pretty good fit for where we're headed? Now, before we jump into the demo, I did want to explain that Project for the Web functionality is really designed to be very, very simple. It's designed to be very modern, very fluid, and very intuitive and visual. So you can go in and build a project schedule. You will have task boards or Kanban boards to drag and drop into different buckets. And then you have a timeline view where you're going to be able to visualize stuff. Very, very different from the Project Online environment, which does portfolio management and resource management and time tracking. A lot more functionality there. Project for the Web is really a ground up basic project management solution targeted towards that market. So let's give you a demonstration of the solution here. And it's always good to show you things because seeing is always believing. So when we get into Office 365, we click on the green icon for project and it brings us to our project homepage. The project homepage is designed to aggregate information across different project management systems we might have. You'll see down here at the bottom, we've got different projects listed. We've got a PWA project, which is Project Online. So we may be part of projects that are more complex in nature or more enterprise that require enterprise resourcing and enterprise planning and portfolio management. We may have other projects or projects here that are coming from Project for the Web. And then we can also have roadmaps, which aggregate data across projects in both systems, as well as projects that are in your Azure Devops system. So it's a nice aggregated homepage. Now, just looking at the projects that are here, we're going to pick the first one here, Infrastructure Planning Project, which is an IT project. Project for the Web, I click on it and it takes me right into that project. And you'll see it's very, very visual. You see, I don't have a ribbon like in the rest of the Microsoft Office applications. Literally, I would go in here and I can start adding tasks and activities. I may have a new phase, maybe phase 3 we're defining. Then I may have tasks within that. You'll see down at the bottom, we may do a new design update. And then we want to finalize design. Very basic tasks we're building. We can then come in here and you'll see by right clicking, we can actually make it a subtask of a previous task. Again, let's make it a subtask. And then what we can do is we can add some basic information about the task. We think this is going to take 5 days. We're going to think this finalizing the design is maybe going to take 8 hours. You see it auto fills for us. It's very, very visual. We can then set up dependencies. It's finished to start dependencies. So this is going to come after task 29. And this is going to come after task 32. We can then come over here and we can add people to those tasks and activities. So we can say on this task, I want to have Sarah and Tom. And finally, on the finalizing design, I want to just have Sunny manage that one. Very quick and very easy. And you'll see Project for the Web allows us to actually update specific fields of information. The name of the task, the dependency type, the percent complete, start, the finish, who it's assigned to. If we want to track effort or work, we can do that. Or if we want to create different buckets to insert these tasks, then we can do that. But that's pretty much it. We can create new local custom fields if we want, but that's what we're doing here. If we're doing basic project management, if we're a business project manager or someone managing smaller IT projects, this might be a really good fit. Now, what you'll see here is that once I've made those changes, there's no save button. It naturally auto saves this into the back end of the system. We can then go to the second tab, which is called Board. This is your traditional Kanban board. So as tasks are updated, they will start to show up here, new design update, and I can drag that over and say, well, that's part of our management activities. Or finalizing the design, that's something I want our software team updating. And simply by dragging and dropping these over here, I can drag and drop them into different buckets, and I can have buckets that are related to activities, to functions, to process areas, even if I'm in an Agile world, to sprints. So maybe I want to put that design update in sprint 1, and I want resourcing to happen in sprint 2. So I can visualize these and put these in different buckets. And if I want to create a new bucket, all I need to do is add a bucket name and say this will be finalized for management review. And users have the ability and the flexibility to create their own buckets. We can then group by bucket. We can group by who it's assigned to. So if I want to see all of Josh's tasks, Sarah's tasks, Sunny's tasks, so Josh and Sarah and Sunny can get in here and see exactly the tasks they need to work on. Or we can start to group it by progress, not started in progress completed, traditional Kanban, or we can group it maybe by finish date as well, what's late and what's in the future. Additionally, if I want to go and update any of these tasks as the owner of it, I can click on it. I can see it had 8 hours of work. I can say I've done 50% of that, and I simply click OK, and now it's progressed that task. Very quick, very visual, very easy. Finally, the last view here is the timeline view, and this is going to give us our traditional Gantt chart view. It's got the Gantt chart bars here, the tasks on the left, and it gives me the ability to say, well, this task, this design update, we're going to actually extend it out another month or so. We can drag and drop that out, and it's going to extend the duration of these out. So it's going to pull them out, or I can pull dates in, or I can simply click on a task. It pops up, and I can say I did half of it. I did 50% of the work. And then it'll be statused on demand. Again, very visual, very quick, and very easy. And that's really the design of Project for the Web, an easy way to get started, to plan, track, visualize, and manage your projects all in one place. And that is an overview of Project for the Web today. That is the out-of-the-box functionality that's built into the tool. One of the really nice things about this is you can actually aggregate multiple projects from Project for the Web and Project Online and Azure DevOps into roadmaps. So as a user, you can actually go in, create a new roadmap, and you can build out a visual roadmap. And the roadmap is going to aggregate data across multiple systems. So see here on the left, we have a pre-construction project, an application enhancement, maybe a marketing project, an infrastructure. These are the activities and the tasks coming from those projects that we can view, we can insert, we can update a status on those. And then what we can do is we can share these with different groups. We can create a roadmap, an IT roadmap or a marketing group, put people in that group, and then they have the ability through a core Microsoft Office 365 license, an E3 or an E5 license, to come in and do a view only on the roadmaps. So you may have some folks that just want to view either the project schedules or the roadmaps. As long as they have one of those E3 or E5 licenses and the right services set up, they can actually come in and do a view only on these as well. Again, that's called the roadmap function, and that aggregates data across your projects. So we went through the UI for project, we went through the roadmaps. All the data here is available on the back end for reporting. So if we go to Power BI, we can open one of our Power BI reports, maybe a report template we have. And this is tapping into that data, which is being stored in the Dataverse in Office 365, and allow us to report on it. So now we can look at reports. You'll see we have portfolio reports, resource reports, task reports, timeline reports, and work reports. And simply by selecting different information, maybe we just want to see all the in-progress projects we have today that are being managed by a certain manager. We can then get a report of just those projects here. Remember, it's pulling over very basic information: the project name, start and finish date, the progress, the estimate, the hours, and the overdue tasks as well, anything that's past its due date. Okay. We'll also see there's timeline reports here. So we can come in here and generate a timeline report based off of projects that are in progress or from a project manager. We've got different milestone reports that are built in as well. So we can select projects that are not started or in progress from a manager or multiple managers. Generate a status report or a milestone report. We then have resources. So one of the differentiators between project and project for the web is that it's very, very basic resource planning and resource management. So we're talking about if you just wanted to see all the future tasks or a group of resources. Highlight a couple of these guys. And we want to see what they are and what projects they're working on, and we can see them here. It is not doing any kind of resource balancing, resource loading. We're not doing 10 or 20% on tasks, but we can see for a certain resource here, like Rob, what projects he's working on and what tasks he's assigned and the progress of those tasks based on the status within the project. You'll also see there's a task overview report that shows me tasks where I can select the project, select the manager, and show me everything that's overdue on that particular project. It's a great way to get into that data. So while Project for the Web on the front end has some very, very basic statusing and task updates, you can use some of the reporting components on the back end to get data out to do some trending. Finally, you have the My Work reports. This is where you can go in, select your name as a user. Maybe I'm playing the role of Alex, and I can see what tasks do I have that are maybe on track right now versus in the future versus completed versus late. See all of them as well. Now I can see a listing of all of Alex's tasks across all of his projects. Again, we're doing very, very basic high-level resources. We're not doing detailed resource assignments or forecasts, but you can at least see the tasks he or she is responsible for and the status of those all in one place. So by accessing the data through Power BI, we can get a lot of reports out to get some more data about our projects. So most folks are asking, what can I do with Teams? How does Teams pull all this information together? So what we can do in Microsoft Teams is we can go in and create projects that map to projects we have in Project for the Web. And you'll see we're in one of those today. You see we're in an infrastructure project here. And what we can do is we can go into the work plan view. And the work plan is going to give us that same view we viewed in the web, but now we can see it in Microsoft Teams. And if I had permission and access to this project, I would be able to come in here, make changes and updates, even come in and update something and say, well, this went from an 8-hour task to a 24-hour task. I can make changes and updates. I can change dependencies, relationships, anything I can do in Project for the Web, I can do over here in Teams. You can also go and look at that visual Kanban board, drag and drop, and you remember we created the finalize for management review. Maybe we want to take this and put it in that bucket. And it's a live look into the data that we can modify. And finally, that timeline, it's a live timeline as well. So we can drill into the components of our Gantt, or to drill down into specific activities, drag them out, and make the changes we would in Project for the Web, but we can do it in Microsoft Teams. So it's fully integrated with Microsoft Teams. The second tab is the roadmap tab. So if we wanted to display one of those roadmaps in Teams, same view we had before, all native and all the same functionality we have here. We can also start to pull our reports together in Teams. So if we had those Power BI reports we had authored or issued, we can access them through Teams, and then all of our tabs are down here at the bottom to again look at things like the milestones, look at things like the resources, to look at things like the tasks. Finally, we can also look at a project document library. So within Project for the Web, the back end of this is the Dataverse, but it's also integrated with SharePoint Online, which is the back end of Teams. So you could actually set up shared document repositories where you would store all the project documents that are all in SharePoint Online connected to that project. And finally, if you had things like action items, things coming out of status meetings where you wanted to assign it to people, this is a really great use case for Planner. These are things that are too detailed or too granular to get into your project schedule, but they still need to get done on a project and you want to track them. Example of that would you may come out of a status meeting and say, you know, we've really got to get some templates delivered for management. I'm going to assign that over to Josh. Josh is going to come in and status those, as well as getting some more information from finance to update the status of the project. We can say that's in progress as well. And you'll see the updates here. So we can use Teams and Task for Teams, or Planner as it's called, to pull all this information together. Finally, we talked about the documents. So Teams really provides a unified user interface to bring all this data together. And finally, I mentioned that Powerapps, or the Power Platform, is really what's going on behind the scenes in Project for the Web. So what I want to do is give you a sneak peek into what's happening in the back end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into Powerapps here. So this is the back end of what we've been showing you. And if I go into Powerapps in Office 365, it's going to launch me into a page that allows me to access my Powerapps. One of those is called Project. If I click on Project, it's going to take me into the Power App that's running behind the scenes. So one of the interesting things is you'll see it actually, if you install some of the pre-built components and the accelerator as it's called, you will get a little bit of a dashboard here that aggregates data around your projects. On the left-hand column, you will see there are project requests, there are programs, projects, and reports here. Resources really doesn't store much information. In fact, there's nothing there for resources today. But if I wanted to go in and look at the projects as an example, you would see a listing of all the projects I have in Project for the Web here. And if I wanted to click on any of those projects, this is where I can actually build out an application. So a really good use case for this is I want to start really basic, but over time I may want to build out functionality around that basic schedule and some of the basic things I'm doing. That's how I can use Powerapps. If I wanted to build out maybe business case data, I can have a form in Powerapps that captures that information and I can then report on that. If I wanted to ever capture project financials, I can use Powerapps for that. The data is all in the central database along with the project tasks, which are coming from the underlying project schedule. And this is where you're going to get a view into those tasks that are in that project schedule, which is an item within Project for the Web. Initiation, here are the tasks we're going to do. We've assigned it to certain people, but we're also tracking things on that project like risks and issues and changes and maybe status. And the really, really powerful thing about this is you can grow that solution over time. So if you really want to start very, very basic and you know your needs might emerge or change, that's where Powerapps becomes a very, very powerful platform. And then you can start to grow into that. So whereas Project Online is a fully featured, fully built out PPM solution, think of Project for the Web as a foundational basic project management tool that you can grow over time and customize as your needs develop. And all of this data is available for reporting through Power BI as well. So you can see these pieces are kind of coming together, and the future of the platform, really from a Power Apps and Power Platform perspective, is where Microsoft's headed. But we have both solutions that are currently in place and will be active for quite some time. Okay. So to give you a feeling for the overall architecture, and this is a bit of a diagram on the right, you see Project for the Web on the left. That data sits in the Dataverse in the Project for the Web database. And then we can access that data in Project Home on the top, Project Roadmaps in the middle to aggregate it, and Power BI to do our analytics, trending, and reporting. On the right-hand side, we have the traditional Project Online solution, which has the Project Professional desktop client for more mature projects and programs. And the front end of that is Project Web App, the browser-based interface. Again, we have a database there. We can access through Project Home, Roadmap, and Power BI. So you have the ability to get visibility across both systems if that's a direction your organization is going. And this is a very popular use case where you have some groups where Project for the Web is a great fit, some groups where Project Online is a really good fit. And you can bring those together and do integrated reporting across both systems if that's a requirement. So from an architecture perspective, remember this is all in Office 365. You're not leaving Office 365 to do this, and it's all stored and secure by Microsoft. So when we break down those differences, just to summarize, we've got our planning tools. Keeping in mind, Project for the Web is very easy to use, designed for small and simple projects. So if you're going a couple hundred tasks, it's probably not the right tool. If you don't mind managing it, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 tasks, it might be a good fit. But remember, it contains only a small smidgen of the data and features and functions you would find in Microsoft Project. So if you want to do resource leveling and forecasting and what-if analysis and dragging and dropping of tasks and multiple levels, Project for the Web isn't a good fit, but it is a good fit for easy basic scheduling. Project Professional is a much more powerful enterprise tool, or one of our clients told us this morning, the gold standard for managing enterprise projects, programs, and portfolios, but that's a little harder tool to use if you don't have training. So if you're trying to get a team of business users up and running on a web-based tool, you might want to look at Project for the Web. It's a really good fit. In terms of the services running behind the scenes, Project for the Web includes those basic task views that we showed you, the visualization of those, but there's no resource views, there's no task tracking, there's no time tracking or timesheets, there's no progress statusing through the core user interface. You need to get to any of that and build that into the Powerapps user interface or use an accelerator to do that. Project Online, again, provides multiple views across portfolios and programs, individual projects, has built-in time reporting, has integration with other systems. So it's a much more full-featured solution. But again, it really depends on what's important to you and where you're headed. We found with our clients and working with them, some of the biggest selection points on which direction to go are enterprise scheduling. Do you need to do very, very basic schedules or schedules that have scheduling logic, complexity to them, different relationships and different types of dependencies, and also resource management. If resource management is a key requirement, Project for the Web is probably not the right fit. Project Online is a much better fit with Project Professional. If today you need to do any kind of team member time tracking or task updates, today Project Online is a better fit. Project for the Web doesn't have a team member interface. It's designed really for that end user, the casual project manager, and the people on top that are getting reports. It doesn't today as well have any notifications or reminders. Doesn't mean that's not in the roadmap. In fact, Microsoft is working on notifications and reminders around tasks and specific activities, but today there are no notifications in Project for the Web. Additionally, custom fields that are unique and go across projects, are available at a local level for each project in Project for the Web, and an enterprise level in Project Online. In Project for the Web, they're not reportable because they are local. So that's something that if you need custom fields of information, Project for the Web might not be a good fit. And again, around intake, workflow, and demand management, if these are core requirements, Project for the Web really probably isn't the right fit. If you want people to go in and build projects and manage them and do it in a very lightweight way, it's a great fit. But if you had a formal intake and request and requisitioning process and workflow behind the scenes, that's not part of where Project for the Web is today. Not saying you couldn't build that out in a Powerapps interface, but it would take some configuration, it would take some planning and support as well, and additional licensing around that. So when you're thinking about which tool is the right one for the job, kind of think in terms of these selection points. So in terms of looking at good practices, when you're thinking about deploying one or both of these solutions, the first thing you want to do, and you'll see this probably on every webinar we deliver, is develop a solid strategy for these tools. Identify the users, the use cases, and the requirements first, and use that as a basis for what the right tool for the job is. Don't select the tool and then back into a strategy. Pick the strategy and the requirements, then pick the right tool. Keeping in mind, it's very, very normal. In fact, most organizations are going this direction to have multiple tools depending on the use cases, the requirements, the users across the enterprise. Project Online is for that more formal process-centric organizations where you have a PMO, IT group, new product development, where you have formalized scheduling, resource management, and lifecycle requirements. Project for the Web is a really good fit for business groups or smaller teams in IT looking to do very, very basic project management, need a tool, but don't want to go outside the enterprise for a tool like Asana, Basecamp, and Smartsheet. Azure Devops is a tool you'll probably use in your environment for your dev and your agile teams that are doing development cycles and test plans and using GitHub and ways to organize that information. Not saying you could integrate that with the systems above, it's just that's the place developers are typically going to live. And finally, Planner and Tasks for Teams is a great tool for kind of the non-project based organizations where you just need a better way to organize all your work, but you can integrate that in, as we showed, into your project management lifecycle to use that functionality. So it's all about picking the right tool or tools for the job that Microsoft can offer. Finally, you want to start to identify the problem you're looking to solve. What's broken that's not working today? You know, we talk to different clients that have different needs. Some have very high-level portfolio and resource management requirements. Another one we talked to today, just wants to build basic work plans and track documents around those. Project for the Web might be a great fit for that, whereas the first one, Project Online, is probably a better fit. But again, identify your requirements, select the right tool. Remember, you can use these tools interchangeably and securely in your environment, and all the data is available to roll it up. Each one is going to have a different data set and a different level of data and different capabilities. You want to understand that as you're planning and delivering out your reports and understanding what reports people need. And remember, one of the key things here, Project Online, it's not going away near term. It's a cloud-based solution that Microsoft's going to be supporting. But if we look forward, if we look out 3, 4, 5 years, the Power Platform is where everything is headed at Microsoft. So if you're thinking about strategy-wise, where do I want to head? What platform do I want to support? What business needs do I have? You'll have both options, Project Online and Project for the Web, to meet different business needs. And Project Online and SharePoint Online, again, aren't going away, but the overall direction is Power Platform. So that really concludes the content we wanted to go through today. Sarah, I was going to hand it back to you to kind of review some of the offerings and answer some questions.
Great job, Rob. So before we jump into Q&A, we did want to share some of the value our team can offer you. We typically work with clients in one of 4 phases of implementation. The first phase is implementation preparation, which can include assisting with the evaluation of the various Microsoft solutions to determine which are the best fit for your organization. This may include targeted demos and pre-planning engagements to flush our requirements and use cases, as well as educating stakeholders on what's possible. The second phase is the actual implementation of solutions, which includes analysis and design, technical implementation, testing, and preparation for go live in your environment. In this area, Progility offers professional services and over 16 years of experience with successful deployments, leveraging our experienced team and a set of accelerators designed to help you get the most out of your Microsoft investments. The third phase is training, which includes delivery of tailored role-based education and knowledge transfer sessions to your users, system, and PMO administrators. We also offer e-learning, which is gaining popularity. And this allows for self-paced end user training and internal certification of users leveraging cloud-based technology. The fourth phase of deployment is transition and adoption, which is often forgot, but potentially the most critical. This is where users are actively managing data in the system and managers are using and trusting reports. This is where real process improvement opportunities lie, and where having a reach out support mechanism or on-staff PPM experts can make a huge difference. So depending on where you are in the overall life cycle, Progility can help you reduce risk, increase adoption potential, and help guide you to make the right decisions to ensure product portfolio management is a success. So reach out to discuss specifics if there is any interest. And we'll now open the floor to Q&A. So if you have any questions, please type them in the chat window. So, Rob, from Matt, is Project Online going away or being sunset by Microsoft?
Good question, Matt. Not in the near term. So there has been no announced end of life date for Project Online. Currently is the supported project portfolio management solution from Microsoft. That said, as I mentioned, Powerapps is the future platform, but again, SharePoint Online and Project Online aren't going away. So there's really no specifics that have been provided by Microsoft here, except, if you're looking at it, look at both solutions, figure out which one is the best fit from a business process and user perspective, go that direction, and Microsoft will continue supporting them.
Thank you. We have another question. Can Project Online and Project for the Web projects be integrated for reporting?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was one of the things we actually went through in the, if you look at the architecture slide, I'll pull it up one more time here. So definitely you have both those databases. You have the Project for the Web database and the Project Online database. And then you could have Power BI reports that actually pull both. In fact, Microsoft has some sample reports that show the integration of both data sources. The key there is common metadata between the two systems, common naming conventions in a way that's useful to show it all together. But the data is all available and sample reports are out there in the marketplace today. So absolutely.
Thanks, Rob. We'll leave another 15 seconds or so. If anyone else has any more questions, please type them in the chat window. All right, I think that is it for today. Again, we hope you can join us for our half-day virtual conference on April 7th. Registration link is on this page. And to start the discussion, feel free to reach out. I'm Sarah Howard with Progility. My contact information is listed here. Thank you again for attending our webinar today, and have a great rest of your day.